Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over another Neville Goddard lecture. It's titled All Things Exist. It has a wonderful message and one I'd like to share with you. So I'll paraphrase the lecture and we'll talk about it as we go. Now in this lecture, Neville delves into the concept that everything in our physical world is simply a reflection of the infinite and the eternal world of imagination. He states that the permanent realities of all things exist in the world of imagination, and it is in this world that everything takes on its true form. Meanwhile, the physical world is finite and temporary, and everything in it is merely a reflection of the permanent realities that exist in the world of imagination. As he often does, he quotes William Blake saying, quote, "All that you behold through it appears without. It is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow." Unquote. In other words, the world that we see around us is just a reflection of the infinite and eternal world of imagination that exists within us. Neville stresses the importance of reviewing and revising our thoughts, and highlights the power of positive thoughts in changing the conditions of our lives. He says Scripture urges us to revise, to forgive, and to change our thoughts, thereby changing the conditions of our lives. He then cites a personal example of a friend who called him one day and was fearful he was going to lose his job after finishing a project. Neville said that he revised the call he had with his friend so that he was hearing a voice bubbling with excitement. He told him how he had been praised for his work and felt the thrill of rejoicing with him. 3 weeks went by, and the same friend made the trip to visit Neville at his office, and he said the very words that Neville had revised in his imagination. He was acknowledged for the good work on the recent project. He goes on to say that when you use your imagination lovingly towards another in this way, you are feeding Christ, for these are healing powers flowing from you into the world, and therefore you are uniting with Christ's power. Additionally, Neville shares an example of a lady who has a series of dreams that showcase the transformative power of your imagination. Through her dreams, she experienced the appearance of walking on water, but she was really stepping on stones that were right below the water. The lady admitted crossing the water while walking on a solid foundation. Now he says, "Now the Bible is a parable from beginning to end, and water is the symbol of its psychological truths. The literal interpretation of the parable is solid as a rock. When the meaning behind the parable is discovered, the stone is rolled away and the water is found. However, if a little solid reality in this world is desired, while playing with this psychological truth, it becomes stepping stones below the water. Loving what is heard is not enough. One must be willing to go all out and walk on the water." Instead, feeling she must be practical, as she was living in the world of reality, where rent must be paid and food must be bought, she was unable to walk by faith at that present time. Neville then describes faith as the subjective appropriation of an objective hope, and encourages you to walk by faith, not practicality. Throughout, Neville emphasizes the importance of using our imagination in a loving manner, and the impact it has on our lives, both internally and externally. He explains that the world of imagination is infinite and eternal, and that everything in our physical world exists within us. He underscores the power of faith as a subjective appropriation of an objective hope, and encourages you to have faith in your imagination and the ability to bring about change. We must take the time to revise our thoughts, to heal and to make whole, to transform them in a positive way so they can bring about positive change in our lives. At the end, he says, "All things are possible to you because you are all imagination, and imagination creates reality. Knowing what you want, imagine you have it. Knowing what you want to be, imagine you are it. Subjectively appropriate your objective hope and you have assumed a virtue you did not have. Ask no one to help, and do not feel below the water for something to fall back on if imagination doesn't work. Instead, learn to count on your true self. So throughout this lecture, he provides another refreshing message to help us better understand the world of imagination in which we live. Let's focus and revise our thoughts so that we can bring about positive change. Let's use our imagination and our power of revision lovingly and to give something back into the world. Doing so will help us create the life we desire and to live with purpose and passion and fulfillment. Now, I'm going to be making many more videos exploring Neville's lectures and teachings, as well as offering my own messages and insights, so I hope you join me on those future videos. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.